that you take part in the sleep experiment. If you comply with the following requirements, all charges currently held against you will be dropped, and you will be automatically released from your prison sentence. You must stay awake for the next 30 days. You must complete all physical activities. We will be testing an experimental gas that will be administered to you to prevent you from falling asleep. You must obey any orders given to you without delay. Strictly no physical contact between each other. The experiment will begin now.
Yo, what's going on? This is your boy Kuya P. That was the trailer for the Sleep Experiments, available everywhere for download, so you can check it out online, streaming everywhere. I am Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Still getting off of being sick, but I'm not going to be sick anymore because I have a special guest. As you see on the screen, he was 2018's best young filmmaker, going to take over all of Ireland, going to take over the world. My man, John Farrelly, the writer, director of The Sleep Experiment. How are you, John?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm delighted, excited, seeing a young filmmaker like yourself. I've been in the game a long time, and sometimes you need to get shaken up, because we as old filmmakers, we kind of stay in our same ways. But then when there's a new guy like you, and having seen a little bit of the film, you make us get back on our game to get us excited. And so it's great to see a new vision and see a great filmmaker like yourself that's doing it. So congrats to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a million.
Definitely. So again, you were crowned over there in Ireland. I think you said 2018, the best young filmmaker. You created this film while you were in secondary school, writing, directing, editing it. And now it's here to the world. Just tell me about, let's take it back actually even before that. What got you into film? I'm curious what brought you to the medium, and now taking your craft into this and gonna take it into a whole new world with subsequent films, I'm sure, because you're super talented, man. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do. But tell me, when did the buzz, the bite first grab you to get into filmmaking?
I started making short animations when I was a kid, like 5, 6. I used to like drawing, and then I would make the animations come to life, and then I would start uploading them to YouTube. It was like dinosaur fighting videos. It was like little things or whatever, like my 5 or 6-year-old brain enjoyed doing. And I did that for a good 4 or 5 years. And then I thought, why not make a film combining the animation and video? So I started making some short films, uploaded those to YouTube as well. And then I started learning a bit about visual effects. And I used my animation experience to do that visual effects and combined the video. And I just kept making short films and entering youth film festivals and just kept going and going and going. And then I made then a short film called Choice in 2017. And then I entered that into the Fresh Film Festival in Ireland. And I was crowned an Ireland Special Young Filmmaker for that short in 2018. And then after that, that kind of gave me the boost to go ahead and make this film, The Sleep Experiment.
I love that. Were you when you made me think about when I was a young, when I talk to other filmmakers, you reflect on your own experience, right, and what you did as well. I remember, were you were saying you got into animation? So were you one of those kinds that took like a notebook and you like you said the dinosaur, right? Do a dinosaur, then the next page just a slight movement, and then you flip it, and then that was like animation, right?
Yeah, no, that was the very start of it. I went to Disneyland, and the animation section where Walt Disney showed like his flip animations, and when I saw that, I was like, wow, you can tell stories that way. And then on the bus, like home back from the airport, I had a little notebook and I started making animations, and then that's what started it. Then I got on my computer and started drawing, and then learning, MS Paint, and then I would move the images using MS Paint, and then I got some animation software, Pivot, and then that's how it all began. So,
I love that. Oh, I love stuff like this because it just brings us back, and where you can start anywhere, folks. For those that are watching this that are also like wanting to know how to get into the industry. I love that, man. Thanks for sharing that, John. So you got inspired by that. What were some of the you found out for yourself and you're creating for yourself, but what of the medium were you digesting that you enjoyed? Like, tell me some artists or filmmakers that inspired you along the way, and then you got into school, like you said, and started working for yourself. But who are some of the people that inspire you in your creativity?
Well, see, I loved the Jurassic Park films as a child, and then Steven Spielberg was like my hero until about the age of like 11, when I saw Inception, and then I saw The Dark Knight, The Prestige, Batman Begins, and Memento, all of Nolan's films. And then I became like the biggest Nolan fan ever. I was obsessed with his work. But it was Inception that whenever I saw that, I was like, I want to make films like this. I was blown away. And then, that was really the kickstart for me to start like really appreciating the art form of film, and realizing that it's not just pictures on the screen with like characters or animated dinosaurs, all that kind of stuff. From that point on, I was like, wow, you can really tell a story, move an audience member. And yeah, then it was Nolan, Spielberg, Scorsese, Denis Villeneuve. Like there's so many, I can't really pinpoint down the one, but it was definitely Nolan and Spielberg growing up. That was the main inspirations.
I feel that. All right. Some of the big legends. All right. So you made choice, and then that took you into the stratosphere. Again, 2018 Best Young Ireland Filmmaker. And then you came into the Sleep Experiment. I want to give some more love to Sleep Experiment, because that's what we're talking about right now today, people, because it's available everywhere. Make sure you go watch this after you get done watching this. Go check out the Sleep Experiment. Again, available everywhere, streaming, video on demand. What led you to this project? In secondary school, you're writing on your next project. So this was after Choice that you started doing Sleep Experiment?
Yeah. So originally I wanted to make the Sleep Experiment into a short film, and I started developing the story and the characters, and I realized I couldn't condense it into a short film. It kept getting bigger and expanding. And then I thought, why not make an independent feature? I was thinking, I'll do it my short film run and gun style, but just gonna be a bit longer. And I just thought maybe it could work. It's like Choice was 15 minutes. I just thought, it's like 8 or 9 choices. But obviously it's going to take a lot longer than that. But I thought, yeah, I could do that. And then it ended up taking 4 years to finish because of the run and gun style. The summer of 2018 when I shot it at the end of the summer, and I just worked the entire summer. Didn't really do much, just worked, saved up money. And then that's also when I was fine-tuning the pre-production, like the story and just the whole storyboards, planning, all that, casting. And then we shot at the end of the summer. And then I went back to school and edited during my school time for my final year of school. And then went back and then shot some more the next summer. And then I started college, and then Christmas time around then I shot some more, and then the next summer I shot some more. So it was kind of just finding time to shoot in between while also saving up money. And then also I released a trailer for the film that got a lot of views when it was released, and that kind of gave me a bit of support when it came to other production companies in Ireland, that they were willing to give me a chance, gamble and offer their services for, like, obviously not as much a higher price what I would have had to have paid, but it was more like they had an investment. They invested in the film, and that was a huge help for me. And then I was able to get it finished to the standard that it was.
That's wonderful, man. Congrats. So the story, it's kind of wild because I'm prior military, so I know a lot about how the military is. And so when I see certain things like this and knowing, the past and the history, it's always very interesting. And I love that I can use my craft to tell certain stories, and you as well using your craft about things you hear and you were inspired by, right? And so I dig things like this, especially how when we can twist and put horrific elements into it, but also some of that stuff was kind of quite real. Let's not play around with that. And so it brings things to light, so it can help the next generation of military folks that are going through this, because again, it's all perception. And I love the statement you made that was in your press kit. Let me give a shout out to Justin Cook over on the PR team over there. Great piece to just speak on these issues. Tell me what that means to you as well in regards to the content, and just this is a horror thriller, but then it's also speaking on some truths that we like to kind of put under the rug. Tell me what that means to you and bringing that to light.
Yeah, I was inspired by the creepypasta, the Russian sleep experiments, and I thought it was fascinating how they did this unethical experiment back in the day, but no one knows if it's real or not. And then that led me on to, through research, learning about a research facility in England, Porton Down, and how they conducted a lot of unethical experiments throughout the years since World War One. And I thought that's fascinating. There's all these secret military experiments that have just been pushed under the rug. You don't know what actually happened in those experiments, and you never will realistically. So I just thought it was a very interesting idea to maybe ground the Russian sleep experiment in a real facility, which that's why I said it in the Porton Down research facility. And that what if an experiment similar to the Russian sleep experiment happened in England? And then that's how the story came about.
And for you, the message that the audience gets from it, what was it for you that really connected to want to tell this story? And and the reception has been from thus far that have seen it, since it is now available everywhere, y'all.
Yeah, it was more so what is a human capable of when pushed to the brink, like the horrors that a human can do, like what a human can do to another human, like what pushes them to do that, like what's the breaking point. And then I was reading about like psychology and how you take away the basic human needs, for example, sleep being one, it results in war and chaos. And I thought it would be that was also interesting. What happens when you take 5 random men, put them in a room with no sleep, how they'll end up, like what will be the end result? And obviously whenever they are sleep deprived, it's going to result in madness, like mayhem. And I just thought it was interesting to explore that. Agreed.
And the reception now that it is out, have you received any input from anybody that prior service as well, that might have had to go through kind of somewhat similar things in a way? It's a drastic. We're living in a whole different times than back in the World War and everything. But there's still things that happen, and I'm not, without saying too much, that go on in the world and what we are doing to our military servicemen. Did you receive like some kudos from servicemen that that were like, hey, thank you for at least talking on the subject, to just bring light, so that way it creates change in any way?
Not really since it came out, but while working on it, one of the crew, I don't know if I should say who, but he worked with the Romanian army, and he said that it did, like, he saw himself in the as the prisoners and as the soldiers in it, because he experienced, like he said, in one of his initiation trials for the military, he had to go 3 days without sleep while working, and said that like he could start to relate and understand what these men were put through. And then so he was glad like to be part of the project because of that, because it did highlight the unethical ways the government treated these men.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, being a prior service guy myself, I thank other filmmakers like yourself because again, in small ways, people don't realize it can mean a lot, and it could help, at least start the conversation. So thank you for putting that out there, John. So making the film, again, you're still a young guy, man, in school. And I think you have, the film looks amazing. It stands to toe to toe with the rest of these other filmmakers that are much, more experienced in the game, like myself. You're out here competing, man. What was it like, getting the cast together? If you can talk to me about getting the cast and the production, the talent that you had behind and in front of the camera, a little bit to your cast and crew, if you will.
Yeah, so there's different Facebook groups in Ireland, for like different ones for actors, for crew. And I just kind of put a few posts out saying I'm making an independent feature film inspired by the Russian sleep experiment, and I'm looking for some crew. Just said, like, it's a micro budget. Told them a bit about myself. I said, could you please send show reels along if you're interested? And then I just got a few show reels from different crew, different cast members. And then I just had a look through their show reels and had an audition day for the actors that I liked. And then I just picked they picked themselves in a way, the actors, because they were so great. That once they came in, you just knew that they were right for the role. And then that was it. It was only about a 3 to 2 month process of finding everybody, and then that was it. Then it was because the film was shot over such a long space of time. The prisoner scenes we shot in 2018 and a bit in 2019, so I just had to cast the prisoners at that point. And then when we shot more about the researchers and the other side of the experiment, the people conducting the experiment, that was basically 2 years later. So I went through a different casting process, but it was the same thing, where it was through Facebook groups and different acting groups that we found them. And then, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know with any film that I do, there's always that one particular scene within the script, right? That you, when it comes time to shoot that, you're really looking forward to it. A little bit of butterflies, maybe. Is there a particular scene or moment in the sleep experiment that you were really excited about? And did it come together all the way that you had hoped and planned in the final edit? If you can talk on that for those that have seen the film and or will be watching the film and can look for that when they put eyes to the sleep experiment. Available now, y'all.
Yeah, so there was 2 scenes really. The opening shot, where it's a long one shot, and it goes around the entire room in a 360, and as we're introduced to the characters when the exposition's been said. And that was a shot that I'd planned in my head, and we rehearsed that morning, and then once they got it in the first take, and I was really happy with that. And then another shot is when the soldiers enter the room at the end of the film with a torchlight, and you can only see what the soldier sees through the torch, and pitch black. And that was another shot that I was really excited but nervous about, because I didn't know how it would turn out, but I'm happy with how it turned out. But overall, in the edit, how it turned out, like, realistic, like, at the time I was like buzzing, it came to life, like everything I'd planned for had, came to life, and I was like, oh, this is great. But looking back on it now, after 4 years since I wrote the original script, there's moments where I'm like, oh, I wish I could do it differently, that kind of stuff. But like, I feel like that was that's just me, hopefully learning, growing as a filmmaker. But yeah, like, obviously there's things I'd love to have changed. I wish I could go back in time and change, but I suppose that's the whole part of the learning process.
It definitely is. You got to just let it go, John. You got to let it go. But I love that. We're perfectionists, with I'm sure with what we do, our work that we let out into the world. And again, everybody, the sleep experiment is there in the world from John Farrelly. Check it out. It looks amazing. The cast, your DP. Were you DPing yourself as well on this? I'm not sure.
No,
let's shout out your crew.
Yeah, no, Alfie Hollingsworth, he was the DP on it. He's super talented. He's amazing DP, and any images I'd say aloud, or different compositions that I'd suggest, he'd be able to perfectly like conduct it with the lighting and everything. He's really, really super talented, really good guy. And then Tom Stafford, our sound recordist, like we shot in such loud, busy locations, but he was still able to get all the sound perfect. And then when it came to the sound mixers, Kevin and Noel, sound designers, editors, a lot of it had we recreated all the Foley, all that work. They did an amazing job doing that. And then even when it came to all the cast, every single member of cast, like, was just amazing. Like, everyone was a dream to work with. It was like the film gods blessed me with such an amazing cast and crew to work with, and that's all. That made everything so much easier.
I love that. It's a festival of riches. Bravo, well done. Again, it's with horror films and the horror genre, especially, you know, indie film budget. I think this is a great way to start off. And then when I tell other filmmakers as well that talk to me about films, you know, it's pretty one location because you guys are stuck where you have your cast, but you made it feel claustrophobic, which it is because it's a small room, but then at times it could be so expansive in a way. So bravo to you and your team. Again, well done, which makes it such a great horror thriller, John. Bravo. So it's out here again to the people. You knocked it out of the ballpark. You finished it off in secondary school. But are we graduated yet now? Because now I'm curious. Now that this is out into the world and we're going to be promoting this, but what's next on the plate for you, John? And what other stories do you want to tell? Or are we going to stay in the horror genre?
Yeah, so I graduated in June there, so just a few months ago, and I am finishing off my next film. It's a horror film again, but a proper horror, like classical horror, not so much thriller, psychological, more like real horror. And it's an Irish language horror film. It's set during the post end of the potato famine that affected the huge widespread famine that ended up having the Irish population from 8 million to 4 million. So it's set at the end of that. And yeah, I'm finishing off that at the moment. I'm in post-production.
Oh, excited, man. I love that. And I love that you're bringing your own culture element into it. I try to do that as a Filipino American with a lot of my knowledge and background in making that be seen. So props to you, man. I love that you're still putting in the work. Congrats to you as that comes along. I'd love to have you back so I can talk on that. But right now, everybody, this young filmmaker gave us the Sleep Experiment, available everywhere streaming. Check it out. John Farrelly, such a pleasure to talk to you. For my fans that are now your fans, do you have socials or a website that my people can check you out on that we can promote before we go?
I'm not really too into the social media, but Jackpot Films for Instagram. There's a website, Jackpot Films. That's my production company. Or then my name. I'm sure it'll come up somewhere. Just John Farrelly, whatever. Like, yeah. But I'm not too into the social media myself when it comes to personal stuff. But Jackpot Films for Instagram, Twitter, website. That's where you'll be able to keep up to date with the film related work.
Excellent, because that's what we want to do, man. We want to support you there. So I will have the links in the description below, y'all. Check out John in his amazing work, The Sleep Experiment, Jackpot Films. I'll have all those links below so we can check out that potato famine film, giving us more Irish history in the horror form. That's exciting. John, pleasure to talk to you, man.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to talk to you as well.
Thanks. Definitely, y'all. Your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.